Welcome to the December 11th meeting. We will open the meeting today at 6:45. Opening roll call, please.
Let the minutes reflect that adequate notice of the holding of the regular meeting of the Howell Township Council was provided for in the following manner: by the posting of a copy of said notice upon the bulletin board in the Township Municipal Building on January 5, 2018, by the faxing of a copy of said notice to the Tri-Town News, Asbury Park Press, and Star Ledger for information and publication on January 5, 2018, by the filing of a copy of said form of notice in the Township Clerk's office on January 5, 2018. The public will be allowed to attend and will be allowed to participate pursuant to the Open Public Meetings Law. The public is reminded that civility and decorum will be maintained during the meeting. Any contracts awarded at this meeting or between now and the next meeting will be required to comply with the requirements of Public Law 1975, Chapter 127. In accordance with the Fire Prevention Code, be advised that this facility is designed with emergency exits for your safety. Upon exiting the meeting room, they are to your left and to your right. Furthermore, smoking is not permitted in the municipal building. Please take note that this meeting is being videotaped for possible future broadcast on Howell Television. Roll call, Mrs. O'Donnell.
Here.
Mrs. Smith.
Present.
Mr. Walsh will be excused this evening. Mr. Nicastro.
Here.
Mayor Berger.
Present. Is there any reason for us to go into executive?
Yes, Mayor, we have items to discuss under attorney-client privilege and litigation.
Okay.
Motion to go into executive session?
Second.
The executive session minutes from
Nope.
tonight, oh, that's after.
Okay, yep. Okay, I'm going to
ahead,
read the
go ahead.
executive session resolution. Whereas the governing body of the Township of Howell is authorized pursuant to NJSA 10:4-12 to exclude the public from that portion of the meeting for purposes of discussing specific matters as permitted by NJSA 10:4-12, whereas the governing body of the Township of Howell intends to discuss certain matters which are deemed confidential pursuant to NJSA 10:4-12. Whereas this time, the governing body of the Township of Howell cannot determine the time when discussion to be held in executive session will be made public, but will disclose the minutes of executive session when the need for confidentiality no longer exists. Now therefore be it resolved by the governing body of the Township of Howell that this meeting shall be adjourned to an executive session, and the public will be excluded in order that the governing body of the Township of Howell may discuss the items previously listed, and upon reconvening the public meeting, the presiding officer will announce, if possible, the time when and the circumstance under which a discussion conducted in an executive session will be disclosed to the public. Roll call, Mrs. O'Donnell?
Yes.
Mrs. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Nicastro?
Yes.
Mayor Berger?
Yes, ma'am. Good evening, everyone. I would like to call this meeting to order on December 11, 2018 at 7:32 p.m.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, council members, and mayor. Thank you for allowing the Cub Scouts Pack of 258 to present colors and start the town meeting. I was looking back at pictures throughout the years, and this is our fifth year presenting the colors. So I personally, and as the Cub Scout Master, would like to thank the members of the council and the town for allowing us to do this. The Cub Scouts look forward to doing this every year, and the older Scouts earn a requirement, God and country, that they have to move on to Boy Scouts. At this time, would you please stand as the Cub Scouts enter? Cub Scouts. And salute. Our light present colors. Our light, lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Scouts, ready? 2. Ladies and gentlemen, you may take your seats. Scouts, signs up. Our light, lead us in the Scout Oath. On my honor, I will do my best to do my duty to guard my country, to obey the Scout law, to help other people at all times, to keep myself physically strong, mentally awake, and morally straight. Trustworthy, loyal, helpful, friendly, courteous, kind, obedient, cheerful, thrifty, brave, clean, and reverent. Scouts, ready? 2. Scouts, bow your head. Ladies and gentlemen, will you please rise? Dear Heavenly Father, Scouts, repeat after me. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for letting me be a Cub Scout. Thank you for helping me make new friends. Thank you for my parents who helped me. Thank you for all the fun I've had. And most of all, thank you for helping me when things are hard. Amen. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to take a moment of silence for our military. Dear Heavenly Father, we ask you to watch over the men and women of Howell Township and their families. We ask you to guide our leaders and help them do what is right for the town. We ask you to watch over and protect our first responders, police officers, firemen, first aiders, and their families. Heavenly Father, in your name we ask that you be with our military and their families throughout these holidays and help them be safe. We ask this in your name. Amen. Ladies and gentlemen, you may take your seat. Community members and Mayor of Howell Township, thank you for allowing the Cub Scout Pack 258 to present colors to start this town meeting. I would also like to thank the mayor and the committee members for answering questions for our hour of light before the meeting.
Come on in, guys. I would entertain a motion to accept the meeting minutes for November 15 and November 20.
We don't need a separate vote because we're absent, right? So make the motion to approve the minutes for the 15th and the 20th.
I'll second that motion.
Roll call, Mrs. O'Donnell?
Yes.
Mrs. Smith?
I did, you have to abstain.
Yeah, I abstain.
Mr. Nacastro?
Yes.
Mayor Berger?
Yes. Rob, did you want to mention all the dignitaries that are here this evening?
You don't?
Go ahead.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, today is December 11th, and it's a kind of special meeting, I would say, because there was an election, and some of us up here did not seek re-election, and we do have some of our new councilmen-elects up here. Can I introduce?
Please.
You have Councilman-elect Thomas Russo joining us tonight, Councilwoman Pamela Richmond joining us, and Councilman-elect Bonovich joining us tonight. Also, because we're going to do a little bit of a recognition of the outgoing council, and unfortunately, a little upsetting, I really would have wished that Councilman Bob Walsh could have been with us tonight, but as we know, he is going through some health issues and will not be able to join us tonight. But in the audience tonight, I would like to recognize, and by no special order, I know we have Assemblyman Sean Keane joining us tonight, Assemblyman Ned Thompson here tonight, Sheriff Sean Golding is here, Freeholder Director Tom Unknown, Deputy Director Lillian Berry is joining us, and our County Clerk Christine Halen is here. We also have some members in here, former Mayor Gatto I saw, and I did see former Councilman Juan Malave. Did I miss anybody? Just raise your hand if I missed anyone. I can't see that far in the back.
Former Councilman Ted Benson.
Thank you for being here tonight. So with no further ado, I think the mayor is going to continue the meeting, and then we'll do some recognitions, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I just wanted to, with the incoming members, I listened to a speech last week. I think we all listened to the speech. It was George W. Bush gave a speech for his father that passed. And these lines came out of his inaugural address, so I would like to read them. I obviously added Howell, not the country, so forgive for that. The people of Howell did not send us here to bicker. They ask us to rise above the merely partisan. There is much to do, and tomorrow the work begins. I do not mistrust the future. I do not fear what is ahead. We must hope to give Howell a sense of what it means to be a loyal friend, a citizen who leaves their home, their neighborhood, and their town better than they found it. I have the entire the entire address. I pulled those out because we are bringing on new members. We have members that are leaving council. I personally would like to thank them for some laughs, some education, and a good screaming match here and there. So I personally want to say thank you very much, and obviously thank you to Bob. And I will miss the torture. I think with that, is there anyone on the dais that has a report?
No, Mayor.
Nothing?
Mayor, one quick update.
Yes, sir.
We received notice from the county that the bridge on Ramtown Greenville Road is under construction right now. There's been some problems with dewatering due to all the rain we've had. However, they're looking at mid to end of January now to have the bridge reopened. So I know they're working very diligently, but it looks like it's still going to be after Christmas before it's opened.
Thank you. Okay, I'm going to open this for hearing of citizens. Paul Ryberger?
Yeah, Paul Rayberger, 31-year resident of Howell. I was in here about 3 months ago. Supposedly, I got the problems, I've been here actually a few times with the truck traffic on my road. And supposedly, they were working on it, so I just kinda came in for an update, that's all. See what was, anything making any progress on it.
Brian or Jim?
Mayor, I'll take that one. Yes, actually, we have been working on it. I've been working with the police department. They have done a traffic study on many of the roads in the south end of town. We've looked at things such as Newton's Corner, Lakewood, Allenwood, Arnold, Brook, and one other one down there, Ramtown, Greenville, to look at the overall traffic patterns that are occurring and if heavy truck traffic is being diverted onto, let's say, Arnold only. And there's traffic counts that occurred. There's a report being written right now. And what we've learned is that we have to go to the DOT to request a weight restriction on the roads. And to do that, we have to have good justification. So we can't just say Paul Rayberger wants no trucks on his road. We have to come up with real facts that say, yes, there is a problem. There's a certain percentage of truck traffic that exceeds the normal for a residential road. And if the DOT agrees with us, then we can potentially weight restrict that road. At this point, it's a very lengthy report. I know the police department is still going through it. I'm going to review it when it's complete, and then we're going to have to send it to the DOT for concurrence. So I just wanted to let you know that the actual draft report is about 95% complete, and we'll be sending it to the DOT early 2019.
Yeah, but how come when they got the 4-ton weight restriction on Kent Road?
It took over a year, and it also restricted Kent Road, Ford Road, Church Road, Brown Road, and Driftway Road. Like I said, it had to be the entire area. It can't just be your road. So they did. It took a very long time, and it was that entire region that was restricted.
Can I actually see a copy of that report,
Which one?
of your analysis?
It's a draft, so it's not public yet, but it will be. And yes, you can have a copy when I'm done.
Okay, because as far as I know, they've been working on it for 4 years.
I only
And
know of the
alls I
last
know is
3
that-
months.
He just went out there and counted how fast everybody was going.
But that's not all the consideration that's being done. The consideration is vehicle crashes, so they have to analyze every report, every vehicle crash report that's done, and they have to justify that. Like I said, they can't just say, we don't want trucks here.
Yeah, I understand that.
So that is being done. I've seen the draft.
Okay. At any rate, I got some pictures here I'd like to show you. It's school buses stacked up, little kids on all of them. And then I also have pictures with tractor trailers going head-on into the school buses. So I'd like to show that.
Can I actually have those so we can document it?
Not for long.
Okay. All right, well, we can go over the rest of it, but we'll take a look at these and go from there. All right?
Thank you.
This is an actual map. Basically, all they're doing is coming off of the county roads.
Mr. Rayberger, you have to address the mayor of the dais.
Basically, all the trucks are doing is coming off of, instead of staying on 547 to 526, they're all going to the Lakewood Industrial Park. They're just cutting through the side roads. It's as simple as that. I mean, if there ever was a classic requirement for a 4-ton weight restriction, this is it. And like I said, these trucks are whipping around that corner. Well, right now, there's no school buses on it because the bridge is out. But normally, you got 3 schools emptying down that road. And if you take a look at these pictures here, you'll see what I'm talking about.
They'll pass them up to us.
There's gonna be a tragedy out there. So,
Jim, do you have a time frame on when the document might be completed?
I do not. It gets balanced with the workload of traffic safety. As you know, the traffic safety division is only one officer at this time. So every time there's a traffic accident, that officer gets pulled off of reports like these and many other ones, including reviewing site plans and subdivisions, and has to now do a serious accident investigation. So that trumps everything.
Well, there hasn't been any accidents yet, but there will be. And it's gonna be a bad one. It's gonna involve little kids. And just to let you know, I started this, supposedly the Howell Township Police have been working on it, going back when Mayor Gatto set me up with a meeting with the town manager. That's 4 years ago. I came in here 2 years ago with an update, and I came in about 3 months ago. So they've been working on it for 4 years, so, just to give you that information. It's gonna be a problem. I also have a map here too, I wanna give you, so you understand what's going on. The green is where they were on the county roads. And then I made it like a red, where they're cutting through. It's
If you
very simple,
pass it to
very
them.
simple.
Thank you.
Thank you.
If members of the audience would just indulge me for a few minutes, we do have some elected officials here that want to present some plaques to our members.
Not really, I can stay here.
Like one of those, it's gonna be bad, and never gonna work again kind of errors.
Do you want me down there? Okay, I'll come down. I'd rather be up here above everybody, but
So again, good evening, everyone, and thank you again for coming out tonight. It's not usual that the outgoing would do this, but the mayor asked me, so I'm going to do it. But tonight, doing our introductions, because we do have some state and county and dignitaries here, it fitting and an honor to one of our hometown sheriff and of Monmouth County and a hometown resident of Howell Township do the honor of introducing some of the dignitaries. They're going to present. I have a few words. I think Pauline has a few words, and then we'll get the meeting going. So, Sheriff?
Thank you to Rob Nicastro, Mayor. Thank you so much for taking the time out of the schedule here of the meeting, and to the general public, thank you for your time and patience. So it is a bittersweet day in Howell. We see that we have certainly new leadership coming in, and I want to congratulate all our winners. I know they're looking forward to it, and we're looking forward to them coming on board. It makes the town great. the transition of leadership. We've seen it before, and Mayor, you've done a good job this year, and certainly we look forward to the new leadership coming in. It's so important. Our town is transformational, having been living in town now for 23 years. Certainly, we all admire the hard work behind the scenes. I wish the public could see all the work that all the professionals and certainly the governing body puts in, because it's a testament to what a great town we live in. So with that, we do want to honor Deputy Mayor Rob Nicastro, and obviously it's great to see Pauline Smith here as well, and we're sorry that Bob Walsh could not make it here. Their service and dedication was really a testament to everything that goes on in the town, and I'm sure the professionals will attest to how much work that everyone puts in, and I know the mayor sees it behind the scenes as well. So with that, we want to do some honoring of the outgoing officials. Certainly Rob Nicastro, Pauline Smith, and Bob Walsh have given a lot of their time and effort, and we want to thank their families for sacrificing and particularly keep Councilman Walsh in our prayers and his family as he's going through his health issues. So with that, we are honored tonight to have Assemblyman Sean Keane here from the state of New Jersey, Assemblyman Ned Thompson, so I'm going to call them up and do the state presentations. Please join us, and I think we'll just call the other elected officials up to stand up here, and we're fortunate enough to have representing the County of Monmouth our Director, Tom Arnone, and our Deputy Director, Lillian Burry, and our Monmouth County Clerk, Christine Hanlon.
Thank you very much, Chairman and members of Howell Township. It's an honor to be here. I wish everybody season's greetings. Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy New Year. You know, it's a bittersweet evening, as the chairman pointed out. This is, we're saying farewell to a couple of good friends who've done a great job for your town. You know, Rob Nicastro, who we were talking beforehand a few minutes, and he said, you know, I took a few scars, but made some great decisions. You know, it's hard when you have to come to terms with things like affordable housing and how we're going to deal with some of the problems that the state is foisting on localities. And Rob took that challenge, and his involvement in that issue, his involvement in the town and the sports and in his capacity in many functions as a committeeman in Howell, did an outstanding job. And Pauline Smith, just a legend, a local legend who's been around on her second run now in elected service, and as an environmentalist and somebody who's done so many good things for Howell Township as a lifelong resident. Just wanted to pay tribute to you this evening as well. And we do have 2 resolutions. Unfortunately, our good friend Bob is not here with us. I've been texting him the last couple nights, and I think he's doing well, but we wish him Godspeed. Our prayers are with Bob and his family, but if it's okay, we'll pose for a picture with everybody else, but we do have some nice resolutions for Pauline and for Rob, so congratulations, folks. Thanks.
Just like to echo what my Assemblyman Sean Keane has said, and I'd like to thank everyone for their service. Having been a mayor myself, I know that it's very rare that you get thank yous, so it's a good thing to do for the governing body. Thank you.
Congratulations.
All right, on 3. 1, 2, 3. What's that?
Well, the director, Tom Arnone, and myself, Lillian Burry, are here tonight to lend our words of congratulations to 2 excellent public servants. And believe me, nobody appreciates them more than the people on the county level. Because if all the towns could be as successful and as bright as Howell, we wouldn't have any problems at all. At any rate, with that all having been said, I'm going to start with Pauline. Now, I've known Pauline for many, many years, and the one thing about Pauline is she stands for the environment. She stands for things that are important to us all. She stands for what makes for a a good environment in the way we live, and Pauline has always been concerned about saving the farmland, saving the water resources, and she's done a remarkable job. So I guess you are a legacy in your own time, and I congratulate you, Pauline, really, from the bottom of my heart, truly. No, happy to do that. And enjoy your retirement. You've earned it, truly. And would you like to do?
Sure,
Rob,
you can do that first. You can go
I'll
ahead,
do that?
and then we'll.
Well, I'm really not going to read it.
okay.
You want me to read it? I'll read the bottom of it, all right, Pauline? That's the important part. Throughout the years, Pauline Smith has been an outspoken crusader on protecting Howell's valuable environmental assets, which include streams, lakes, prime farmland soils, natural habitat, and trees. The Monmouth County Board of Chosen Freeholders commends her many contributions to the community by proclaiming December 11th, 2018 as Pauline Smith Day in all of Monmouth County. Congratulations, Pauline. Share it. What happened? Okay. You're getting ready for Tom, that's why. Go ahead, Tom. Now, we both are going to congratulate.
So before I start, I want to talk about, and I know he's not here tonight, but he's become a very good friend of mine over the course of the years. And quite frankly, that friendship didn't start until it was 8 years ago when I decided to run for a freeholder. And Bob Walsh, I reached out to Bob Walsh at that time and spoke to him. Obviously, Howell's a big part of Monmouth County, and I reached out to him and to ask for his support. And I will tell you, the one thing that each and every one, you could agree with Bob Walsh, disagree with Bob Walsh, but Bob Walsh is loyal to you, and his word is his word. And we all have our prayers for Bob, and we know there's not many people that are much stronger than Bob. So he will be battling, but he's a fighter, and he's gonna fight hard, and we all know that. And right now he's probably saying, "Shut up, Tom," somewhere, and moving forward. Sure.
I, too, would like to add a few words with respect to Bob. I've known him a long time, and what I find interesting is we have a phrase in here that I think truly recognizes who Bob has been and has functioned as, and he's called a natural challenger. Bob ran as an independent and won an unexpired seat on the Howell Township Council. And he went on to be reelected many times as mayor, and he served his tenure with great distinction. So I'm afraid, Pauline, you're going to have to share this evening with Bob, and this, too, the Board of Chosen Freeholders does commend him for his contributions to the community and proclaiming December 11th as Robert Bob Walsh Day in all of Monmouth County. Feel better, Bob.
So before I start, I want to congratulate the elected officials that are about to come on, Mayor, Evelyn, and the rest of the committee. You've done a great job here in Howe, and you have tough shoes to fill there, but I know you'll do a good job because at the bottom of the line, it's in your heart to make Howe the best place to live in, and I know. And I want to share this, and that was a good statement that you made there, Mayor, before, because what's very important here, and I think Monmouth County is unique about, is once we become elected officials, we're elected officials, and we work for all parties, and regardless of what party we are here in the county, and we're split evenly through the county, but the reason Monmouth County stands head over heels over others is because we work together to make the whole county good, and the best county in the state. So as we talked about the elected officials, Pauline, I want to congratulate you and I want to thank you for all your service. People won't realize all the dedication that you did for this town. They realize it now, okay? But when you're up there, they take it for granted. And you are truly, truly a dedicated servant to Howe. As far as the last person that we're going to speak about, this is somewhat personal. I met an individual 8 years ago, when I decided to run. And I was fortunate enough at that time to walk around the town, Mayor Gatto and Rob Nicastro and John Costigan when we were running for election. And I got to meet these guys because we were walking around Howell, and as each and every one of us know, when you're walking around Howell, it's not short. It's a long walk. So you get to talk a little. And I met an individual that I saw was dedicated, committed to one thing, and that was Howell Township. And as time went on, a friendship grew. But I will tell you, that friendship stopped when it came to business. And I would receive numerous phone calls from Rob on situations or issues that he wanted the county to address with Howell. And you know, I think it's fitting tonight to bring up, and Rob will really appreciate this, because this is something that I could truly say that him and I have worked on. And I will be glad to say for the mayor and the whole committee that on the December 20th agenda, we will be going out for an RFP for the solar farm that is here in Howell Township. And that's a great use for that. It takes a burden, a financial burden, off of Howell that you guys have right now, and it puts energy efficient, and it puts an area that doesn't impact our residents, and it's for a good use because it's a capped landfill there. And I'll tell you, Rob was instrumental in wanting that to happen, along with the mayor and the committee. Everybody works as a team. But it's kind of fitting because it's going to happen this month, and Rob is outgoing this month. So, Rob, as an elected official, that's first. Okay, I want to thank you for all you've done here in Howell Township. And regardless of if people believe in everything that your issues that you believed in, the bottom line is the one thing: your heart and soul is in Howell Township. And so, as Lillian said before, Pauline, you have to share this day with Bob. You also have to share this day with Rob. So, Rob, this is just as much your day as everybody's day, and I can't thank you enough as an elected official here in Howell Township, but most importantly, a friend to myself and the rest of the county. Thank you.
I just want to add a few words. You heard about all his accomplishments and what he has meant to Howell. But I want to comment about his demeanor and his person, his persona. He's a very kind, a very gentle person, but yet very strong in his beliefs and wanting to get things accomplished. And Rob, I always enjoy your smile, and I thank you. Thank you for the relationship.
Thank you. I'm just going to be very brief and echo what everyone else said, and thank the three of you, Bob, who's not here, and Rob and Pauline, for your tremendous service to the community. It's not easy being an elected official in this day and age with Twitter and Facebook and social media. It's a very difficult task. It's not like it used to be. And it takes a lot of strength and a lot of dedication to serve your community under the new world that we live in. And I want to congratulate you for all of the time and the dedication that you all put in. Being on a township committee is sometimes a thankless job, as you probably all know. And I want to thank you personally. I know everyone in this room thanks you as well for all of your tremendous service and your commitment, not only to Howell Township, but for the County of Monmouth. And I wish you the best in your future endeavors. Thank you.
Thank you to our County Clerk, Christine Hanlon, again, and the Assembly, and certainly our freeholders for all their support in Howell. Mayor, I know you have a presentation. I too just want to wrap up by saying thank you so much to Rob Nicastro and all that he's done. Certainly, I've gotten to see and become friends with him. Well, we were friends already from Little League. And, that brings me to Bob Walsh. I remember when we started the Challenger League, I was reminiscing at North Howell Little League, and we started the Challenger League for special needs kids. And certainly Bob was a big part of that, and we were everybody that came together in the community. And that's what makes it special, from those things right on up to all the great organizations that we have in Howell. So I want to thank Pauline Smith for, again, holding the traditions of Howell, trying to maintain our open space and our environment here is so important. And certainly Bob Walsh for being a fighter for all our residents. And so, Mayor Berger, I'll turn it over to you. I know you have a presentation. Evelyn and the mayor, thank you so much.
I thanked you all before. I want to thank you again. But I'm just going to give the years of service that our members have provided to the town. So Rob, you were from January 1st, 2011 to December 31, 2018. I'm sure you can't remember all that time. So I want to, from the township, I would like to give this to Rob, and I want to say thank you very much for everything. Now, Pauline, your dates are a little bit longer. So Pauline started in January 1, 1993 through December 31, 2018. Thank you very much for all that you've done for the town. We've had our back and forths, but your heart and soul was always in the right place. So thank you very much for all that you've done. Bobby Walsh, from November 17, 2005 through December 31, 2018. He served in multiple levels: councilman, deputy mayor, and mayor. To Bob, you made me laugh, you made me cry, and I wish you luck. So thank you, Bob.
I did prepare something because it is a bittersweet moment, as everybody said, but please indulge me. So I'd like to take a moment first again to recognize my fellow council members, past and present: Mayor Teresa Berger, Councilwoman Pauline Smith, Councilwoman Evelyn O'Donnell, Mayor William Gatto, Councilman Bobby Walsh, Councilman Juan Malave, Councilwoman Susan Clark, Councilman Ed Guz. I didn't have the opportunity to work with Councilman Betts, but welcome and thank you for coming. It's been a huge privilege and honor to serve on the council for the past 8 years. As your deputy mayor for these past 6 years, and I believe I leave the township of Howell in a better condition than it was 8 years ago. We don't always agree, nor should we. It is in debating our differences that we have represented our township as the tough decisions had to be made. Whether it was contract negotiation, budget cuts, and trying to maintain Howell's rural character in the face of affordable housing mandates, to name a few, that is part of the oath and the responsibility we take. But I am in no doubt that we are all here because we want to make a difference. I very much hope that continues with those who are coming to serve after me after January 1st, 2019. I also hope, as the mayor said, that the good grace and humor in which we usually treat each other can continue. Our common passion for the township and putting the township before politics. It's what should unite us. It is imperative that the council continue to represent and provide the residents with the very best, even if it means making difficult or unpopular decisions. It comes with the job, like it or not. The next council faces incredible prospects, bittersweet in many ways. Budget cuts continuing beyond what many other townships similarly situated have faced and continue to face. New Jersey continues to get more expensive to live and raise our families. Our children are leaving off to college and many aren't coming back. No council member, or me as deputy mayor, would have wished to deal with such significant and unrelenting budget pressures. Yet, at the same time, few could have dreamed that finally the evolution couldn't be moving so quickly after such a long wait. Juggling those changes will, I'm sure, be challenging, exciting, and hugely important for our future. As Deputy Mayor and a proud representative of Howell Township, I've had the privilege to attend a number of events and many meetings at the local, state, and federal levels, which have always left me with a clear impression. Howell Township is a global town, one which is fantastically good and strong reputation around the county and state. I've met many mayors, deputy mayors, senators, assemblymen and women, state and federal and foreign dignitaries, residents from various other towns, and each have visited Howell Township and fully appreciate the gem that the township is. Treasure this, as few townships our size has anything like the reputation or recognition and pride that we do. Also, we are all fortunate to have an incredible group of employees working for us. True public servants who work so hard with such passion, integrity, creativity, and talent. Let's keep nurturing and showing our appreciation and respect for them. I'm extraordinarily grateful for the privilege you have bestowed on me over these past 8 years in serving as a councilman, deputy mayor on several committees and boards. I have done my best to serve this wonderful township and the council in all that I have done. Any achievements and progress I have made for our collective endeavor have been possible due to those I have previously served with and the current council, as well as our amazing employees, and most importantly, my family. My wife, Renee, who through endless advice and support has made this possible to do what I have done. My 3 sons, Anthony, Nicholas, and Jared. I'm very proud of you, and you're all fine young men. The experience has taught all of us in my family many things, good and bad, but most importantly, that serving mankind is noble and a great honor, not to be taken lightly. And thank you for always being there for me. Colleagues, I wish you all the best. Thank you once again. Good luck and fortune. Starting January 1st, my role will change, and a lot of work still needs to be done. I will never yield the moral high ground, whatever the cost. I am not going away, but I want you to know, in me, you will have a lifelong champion for a great township of Howell. Godspeed, happy holidays, everyone, and Happy New Year. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you very much. I believe that we should go back to our meeting at this point. Thank you. So we're going back to the hearing of citizens and public comment. Todd Cohen?
Good evening, Madam Mayor, council members. My name is Todd Cohen. I'm the attorney for Joseph Fazio, Inc. As you may know, they're building their new 163,000 square foot facility, presently under construction on 524. The construction process calls for the pouring of huge concrete slabs for a building of this scale. Unfortunately, it forces my client to have to extend their normal working hours on certain occasions in order to properly complete these pours. They are already taking measures during that process to shorten the working window by adding hot water and curing accelerants to the concrete mix, but it still results in working sometimes until 12, 1, or 2 o'clock in the morning on those limited occasions. I will point out that the future pours will be within the confines of precast wall panels, which was not the case in the 2 previous pours, and that should cut down on some of the noise issues. We do anticipate a need for 9 additional extended workdays over the next 2 months. We're requesting that the council give permission to extend the permitted working hours for those specific days. We will agree to notify all of our neighbors in advance of those dates, and we'll use best efforts to end as early as possible on those dates. I do have with me, and will be happy to share copies of letters signed by 18 of our immediate neighbors that do not have a problem with our request.
Could I ask
That being said, I'm sure there are
Couple
some
of
questions. I do have with me a representative from Joseph Fazio named Anthony Greco, and we'll try to answer any questions the council may have.
Could you please describe what makes the noise and exactly what you're doing that causes the noise?
Sure.
Because I'm assuming that's the concern, is just the noise, not that you're just there.
Yes, it's a trowel machine. It's a trowel machine that gives us the finish that we're looking for on the floor. Also, we are also doing controlled cuts on the concrete slab, which is on diamond dowels, baskets. It's for the structural integrity of the slab.
And that's very loud, isn't it, when that would actually cut the concrete?
Yes, it can be noisy.
And the,
Call to the microphone, please.
Please speak, I'm
the
sorry.
machine itself would be very noisy?
Yes.
So you have that all together.
Yes, the worst of it has been poured. That was our one building that has no walls around it whatsoever at this time. Everything else is going to be in the confines of the building, and the walls, it will be surrounded by walls. That should cut the noise down dramatically.
Do you know till like what hour of the evening they'll be working? I mean, on a average give or take time?
The
Past
problem with that
10?
is it's weather permitting.
Right.
We cannot control the concrete curing process.
Yeah.
We're doing the best we can with accelerants and hot water right now. We're also trying to heat the building, see if we can have that process quicker. But again, I can't control it. We can't control it. We did some of our biggest pours in the last 2 pours that we have. And the one that went to 12 o'clock, we had an issue with a piece of machinery, and that's what caused it to go that late. So, I mean, there's factors that can happen that can cause us to go to that late.
And the 9 days, are they 9 consecutive days?
No, they are not. They are not. So what we do is we do a pour, 1 pour. We give the guys time off after that, because they gotta come back and do it. We're usually working 15 to 16 hours that day. The next day they're off. We would do another pour. So there'd be 2 in a week. And then it would take 2 weeks to get the next pour ready. So it's not an everyday continuous
But you're
process.
you're asking for 9 days and that's it?
9 days we're assuming it's gonna be 9 days to do the rest of the building. If I could shorten that process, we're going to. We're doing the best we can with it.
And if we agree to that, hope I'm not assuming that you would make allowance for Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, New Year's Eve, New
We don't
Year's
work on
Day.
those days.
You would, well, no, I've seen,
Yes, no, I understand.
I've seen people work on
We'll
those
be shutting
days.
the job down for the holidays.
Yeah, okay, good, so it would be around,
Be during the
Christmas
week.
and New Year's and,
Yes, it'll be around. It would not be during those. Christmas Eve, I believe, is on a Monday. We're going to be off that actual week. That
Okay.
whole week we're off. So,
One more question for me, actually. How many neighbors do you have in the area? You have 18, it's okays, but how many other people that live in that area?
and how close are they?
our site is pretty big. I don't have many neighbors.
It's a 27-acre site that's on a triangle. So we have neighbors on 524 and on Yellowbrook, so, you know, the areas, there's not that many neighbors.
Right, which is,
Yeah.
Now, if I remember right, I was through there on my way home from rehab, from the nursing home, last week. And you're not really that close to anybody, except, I'm trying to, on Yellowbrook Road, the first houses around the curve against you would be the ones most affected, wouldn't you say?
Yes.
And have they signed your,
Yes, they have.
good?
Everyone I spoke to, not everybody was home. There was 2 or 3 houses on that block that I did not get to speak to anybody, but everyone that we share our property line with is on board with us. Everyone I actually did get to speak to, I mean, I've done it during work hours to go, I personally went and spoke to them, I went in their houses. They were on board with us to get this completed.
Yeah, it's a shame you didn't have build a berm beforehand. That would have been, that's why I believe in such things. And they should be put up before the buildings are built, not after, the way they end up doing it so often. But, does anybody else have any more questions?
I do have one question. Have you had any issue with any of the neighbors that are not happy with this project?
Yeah,
The
that's
noise
what I was
level
gonna
and
ask that
whatnot?
too. Any complaints?
We did have one complaint while we were pouring. I didn't get to speak to that gentleman. I did approach his house to see if we could do anything to make it, and explain to him that one pour, that situation, we were not in the confines of the walls of the building. And again, with the concrete, the temperature
Right.
was key for that. We took the opportunity, we had a 50-degree day, and we took the opportunity to start that pour in that building to get it out of the way.
So the one complaint was more than likely as a result of the walls not being up. And I
Yes, I
see now that they
believe-
are, so you anticipate less noise as a result of the walls.
Absolutely. And I do also believe, we had to put lights up.
Yeah, I go by your project frequently.
Okay, so there was lights up. It was like me putting a light in the field because there was no walls
You are
around
the
that.
only light.
Yeah, so, I mean, I believe that could have been the biggest part of the complaint, was the light. Like I said, we're gonna be inside now. There's gonna be walls protecting the light from shining out outside the project, and it definitely is going to help with the sound.
So that one concern, you feel that you've dealt with a considerable amount of his concerns?
Yes.
I'm surprised you're even attempting to pour concrete in below zero weather.
We do it. We're doing, there is, there's
Not always the
accelerators.
smartest
and-
thing to do. You want that to keep to where,
The issue there is, with the size of the pour, even, this would happen any season. It's not just the winter. It would happen in the summer also. We would be working, it would take longer.
If I can just add, and I want you to understand that, obviously, we have to strike a balance. Reasons why we do ordinances is because we want to protect the quality of life of our residents. But we also understand that when we do these ordinances, sometimes one size doesn't fit all, and we allow opportunities like this, whether going before a land use board or a court or the governing body, to make exceptions. I understand a little bit about construction and the pours of concrete. Don't profess that I'm an expert in that at all. But I know it's a big undertaking of a project. So I could support this to giving some leadway from our ordinances, because I think our ordinances Monday through Saturday are pretty flexible, no work on Sunday. The hours are legit. This is an extraordinary circumstances. I would tell you that I would expect your construction company to be good neighbors to the few neighbors that are there. They're still neighbors. They're gonna have to live with you, and you're gonna have to live with them. I think we're gonna have to have some parameters. It's not gonna be 24 hours that you're gonna be able to do this pour. But I would hope that, and I won't be here, but should through those 9 extensions of time that it gets out of hand, that it's gonna be addressed, and that you, as a good neighbor, accommodate what's going on, whatever the complaints are. So if we're all good neighbors, I think it could work, and I think it'll be a great project for Howell Township. So, not to belabor, Mayor, if nobody else has anything, I would agree to 9 extensions, cap it at to maybe 11 p.m. Just tell me if 11 p.m. is going to be. If it's going to be past 11 p.m., I would expect and request that you notify the neighbors and community development so that there could be preparations made. I think if we all talk to the neighbors and to each other, that solves the problem. Maybe you wouldn't even be here if that was the case, but let's do that at the start. Amendable? Absolutely. Do we need to do that by resolution, by vote, Joe? It's an extending of if it's in the form of a motion, it would be the request of 9 extension days of working within, out of the parameters of our ordinance, of our time, or construction ordinance times.
That's correct. By motion, you can do it.
Okay, so that's my motion.
Okay, so I have one question, because we have a resident that wants to, is this on? So we have a resident that wants to
Bring him
speak,
up.
so do we do
I
the motion
apologize.
first?
No. I would like to hear from the
Okay.
Mayor, if I may add something here?
Sure.
So we did receive a complaint about this. We did issue a notice of violation. My staff members met with Mr. Greco, I believe, the other day. Is that correct? To talk about a few things. One other stipulation I would add is I believe the lighting is probably your biggest problem out there. We do have pictures of substantial floodlights coming out from the site onto the neighbors. Can I request that they be, if we're going to allow them to work at night, flip them around so they're on the outside pointing in towards your facility, not the other way around. So I know you have to have, concrete trucks and finishing crews coming in at night, especially since it's dark by 5 o'clock these days. Don't put the light tower against the building shining out. Put the light tower out in the field shining in towards the building. You're going to have some better stances with the neighbors.
And I would agree to that and add that into the motion. Thanks, Jim.
We have would you come up, please, and, that's okay. It's all good.
Bear with me. Can I tell you who I am?
Yes, please, in the
Okay.
microphone.
So my name is Tammy Garrick, and I live on Adelphia Road. I'm not a homeowner there, but I do live there. So my question is, based on what the attorney said, that it could go to 12, 1, or 2 o'clock in the morning, I get up at 4 o'clock every morning, Monday through Friday, and during those times, the floodlights were on and they were doing their work. Now, we were never notified, and I understand that Mr. Greco said they took advantage of the opportunity because of the temperature. And I appreciate, the position that they're in, but what is to stop them from taking advantage of an opportunity again and just jumping in and doing their work and us not getting notified? If that first pour was going to be loud and bright, that was the pour we should have been notified on. Now, I'm out there and I can hear it because I'm outside at that time of day, and I'm consistently out there at that time of day, and so are there's a horse farm catty-corner from us, and they're starting their horse rides even that earlier in the morning. Their lights are, I can see them in the barn. So moving forward, what is going to persuade them to definitely do the consideration and not just go, it's a nice day, we should do this today?
So whomever made the complaint, obviously, is why we're here.
Okay.
As part of my motion to allow an extension of 9, I made a motion that it should not go past 11 o'clock.
Okay.
You should be notified when
Yes.
they do plan on doing this. And if there is a violation, then you will notify our community development, code enforcement. They will be issued a summons. So we're making it clear that
Okay.
it should not go past 11 o'clock. There's only 9 more of these circumstances that they figure that they should be able to get this project. You should be notified. If not, you contact us.
Okay.
So that's why I said I think we all need to communicate a little better.
That's why I'm asking, 'cause
And,
I don't
and you
know.
bringing it to our attention is why they're here, and I do appreciate that you bringing it to us attention. Because you know what? Living here, renting here, you're a resident here, and we respect our quality of life. We want our businesses and our community to be all good neighbors, so.
And so then would that go if they needed days 10 or more? You know, you're saying for
They would have
9
to come back
days
to the council.
and have that approved?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Excuse me, did we ever establish a start time? I mean, has there been a deviation from the,
Our ordinance
ordinance?
starts, what, 7 o'clock? 7 a.m.? What time,
were you beginning prior to that?
It would be beneficial for us to start earlier than that. Our biggest problem is with noise and the light would be at nighttime. The trucks coming into the site, they're really confined. It's not that, they're not as loud as the machines are to finish the concrete. The trucks themselves are in 5-minute intervals. We're usually done pouring by 12 o'clock in the afternoon. It's the drying process that we're having a problem with.
Right.
And that, again, I cannot control,
I'm
as much as we're trying to.
I'm sorry, I was trying to get a start time from you. I
We
mean,
use Sylvie Concrete. The best start time for us would be 6 o'clock in the morning to start rolling trucks.
So you're asking for 2 things, right?
Yes.
Start at 6 and at 11.
11 is, I would have to, our last complaint was at 12. We didn't get our saw cuts in that day.
But that was you just said you had some breakdowns, you had some mitigating circumstances.
Yes.
But realistically,
Shut us down for about an hour.
if everything went right, 11 o'clock would be a reasonable time for you.
I'd say
Okay.
were there any complaints with the start time?
no.
Is your comment regarding this,
Absolutely.
please come up.
I guess,
At the mic with your name and address, please.
Scott Pearson, Adelphia Road. I guess my question is, the letter was dropped off at the house, and I don't know if you guys got a copy of it or not. I will read it. I understand that the Fazio construction project needs to begin work early and complete work late, multiple days to complete the pours of the concrete slabs inside the building. I do not have any issues with the construction being performed now or previously at Fazio job site to date. I understand that after the certificate of occupancy is issued, the business will typically operate in the hours of 7:30 to 4:30 p.m. Monday through Friday and 8 to 12 noon Saturday. These hours are great for the company and the residents. The hours I don't have a problem with. What I do have a problem with is when this got dropped off, it was my understanding that they were requesting that this would continue until they got a CO. That's the way this letter reads. So I think whatever you guys decide to do, there needs to be some teeth put into this.
The letter was just to get an opinion of the neighbor. They put the teeth into with the restrictions that they've given us this evening.
I understand
They
that,
only
but
asked for 9 days.
you're right, but in the letter, it says, I understand that after the certificate of occupancy is issued, the business will typically, so what this letter entails is that you're asking for these hours to be extended. This is what you came to, this is why I'm here tonight, because of this issue, because I was like, if we have to deal with this until a CO is issued, I have a big problem with that.
So I think you come in, and I don't mean to interrupt you, I think you're coming from some clarity. My motion today, and for the governing body to consider, is 9 extensions. I don't know, 9 extension of
That's
days
fine.
of work.
Yeah.
I don't know what that letter says. Anything other than that,
Okay.
they have to abide by.
Yep.
Otherwise, they'll be back here to the council.
I never had any intention of asking for more than that.
Okay,
I can
I
assure
appreciate
you
that
that
clarity.
our decision will trump his letter.
okay, thank you, I appreciate it.
You made a motion. Would you second? Is there a second?
Yes, I'll make a second for 9 additional days only.
And just to clarify, that's 6 a.m. to 11 p.m.
Only.
With notification, yes.
with notification to neighbors and community development, correct?
Correct.
Yes.
Yes.
No, she had a roll call.
No, I mean, I agree.
Well,
Roll call, Mrs. O'Donnell?
Yes.
Mrs. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Nacastro?
Yes.
Mayor Berger?
Yes.
Thank you very much for your time this evening.
Thank you. Janet Engel?
Good evening.
Good evening.
I'm glad to be back. Janet Engel, 36 Banquet Court. And tonight I'm here to represent myself as well as a few members of the Monmouth Woods community, the new community that's on right off of West Farms Road. So we have a few questions. The first question is, can you explain if there is a chance to reverse the excessive master plan build of the current intended properties right off of the ones that you voted in on the 3rd of December? I know that it was ratified, but is there a chance to reverse that in any way? Or is it a done deal? That's a question that everyone in my community has.
Joe?
She's asking about the COA projects that were approved.
The affordable housing projects that were ratified on December 3rd, they were ratified, correct?
No, there has not been a fairness hearing with the court yet. That's been reset for February.
February what?
I believe it's the 26th, but I will, if you call, I'll let you know exactly the date. It did not go on for December 3rd.
Okay.
So
All right, so
February 6th is the
February
hearing
6th,
date, yes.
okay. And where will that take place?
That will take place in Judge Perry's courtroom at the Monmouth County Courthouse in Freehold.
And do you know the time?
I believe probably start around 9 a.m. typically. The court won't set a specific time for it, so.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
All right, great, thank you.
You're welcome.
So there's still a chance to order a traffic study, correct? A traffic and safety study? Because our major concern is that you're putting, and, I understand, I totally understand that we need affordable housing. And if we don't get it, then we will have fines and, we're meeting the needs of the people. I get that. But what I'm worried about is the cluster. Excuse me. So we're adding an estimated amount of about 2,000 vehicles to a 2-lane country road. And, in speaking with some people who have been involved with safety and traffic flow, this can really present a problem. Like if one of our homes, God forbid, ever catches fire, how will they cut through all of the traffic? And, we are in a senior community and, there are people who will need EMTs. How will you cut through all that traffic? Because I leave in the morning at 6:30 to get onto 9, and there's already so much traffic right on that corner. I just don't understand how you could justify putting all of those buildings there. But I just want to know if there's a way that we could order a traffic study.
If I may, because I think it's important, Janice, that facts matter, not just statements. So I don't know where you're getting the facts that there's 2,000 cars pouring on to a country road. But let me give you a little history, because I've been here a long time, and I've been on the planning board a long time. Have a little history, a little knowledge. Just like when you moved here from Old Bridge, in your application, Woodbridge, I apologize, better town, I love Woodbridge. Just when that project was being done, there's a process. It came before a planning board. And through that planning board process, which I sit on, the mayor sits on, and other members, we go through a whole slew of information. One of them happens to be traffic. And there will be professional testimony about traffic counts and all that good stuff. And I could assure you, when your development was coming in, concerns were brought in, and that testimony is given, and we are assured that fire engines and our police and our EMS get to an emergency. Never has been an issue for the 12 years that I've been up here and living in town. Things could happen, I don't want to mistake that, but just like in Woodbridge, old Woodbridge, right? You know, things happen. But there would be a process. I think what the township attorney has said is there's still a process going through the courts with affordable housing. The governing body had to make a decision. Right, wrong, indifferent, you like it, you don't like it. We made the decision, now the process will go through. Just like your development, when those processes finally do come to fruition before the planning board, all those questions will be answered and asked. The community will have an opportunity to give input and raise concerns, and those things will be addressed. But I can tell you, as a member of the planning board, we have one of the best boards that I've ever seen, and all this, hyper about, overdevelopment and stuff like that. I used the word one time that people criticize, but we do a good job in this town, and I know, without knowing you, you moved here because this is a great town, and it will continue to be a good town. Have input, stay involved, come to the planning board meeting, raise your concerns. I assure you that your concerns will be addressed.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
My next question is I want to go in order, I'm sorry. The wetlands, I think number 9, the building proposed, number 9 sits on some wetlands. I know that, I guess the planning board would address that as well. No?
Not sure what you're
So you know
referring
how
to.
each of the numbers are, when you guys voted, you voted on
The sites.
the sites.
Site
So
9.
Site
Oh,
9.
okay.
Does that sit on some wetlands there?
There's wetlands on every property, and they will be addressed at the planning board process through a letter of interpretation from the New Jersey Department of Environmental Protection, which is standard and required on all site plans and subdivisions that come to our boards. So that number, or that line, will be set by the DEP before we even see it.
Okay, thank you. My next question is the affordable housing. Once again, I have become active in the community of Howell, and I had several people reach out to me asking me how they can get on the HUD list and can I help them fill out the application. So these are, people who are struggling, and they would like also to be able to have this affordable housing for them. So I don't have an answer for them, so I was wondering if you could advise me on that. And the other thing is that, I'm one person, so I was hoping that maybe we could set up a committee that would address this, to serve our Howell residents to help them to fill out the complicated HUD housing applications.
Mayor, if I may, we actually contract with a company called CGP&H, which is Community Grants Planning and Housing. They oversee our affordable housing program for the township. They have a very interactive website. We do get multiple requests to get on a list, let's say. They are directed to that website to fill out a one-page initial application. It is not complicated. It's very simple: name, date, name, date of birth, social security number, and that's pretty much
Great.
all they need to do at first.
At first. Okay, great. Thank you.
And Jim, I don't know, just to add, I don't know if he said it, I didn't hear him, but that link is also available on our township website. So you go on to our township website, there's an area where you can look for affordable housing, and it walks you right through.
Wonderful. And my last question is, once again, about the traffic study. So when exactly does that come? Does it come during, like, when, okay, so there was someone here last time that I was here that explained the process. So now that we've had a meeting, it's going to go to the judicial court, right? And then after that, what happens?
So it'll go to the court for the fairness hearing. At that point, the court will weigh the objections, listen to testimony, make a decision as to whether or not the plan is fair and whether or not it presents a reasonable opportunity for the construction of these homes. Let's assume the court approves it. Then it starts in earnest in terms of having to go before the planning board and presenting their site plans, traffic studies, all of that. So we still have a ways to go before it's approved by the court, and once that happens, there's still going to be time before the developers are probably ramping up to build the projects.
Right, and so that will also include the Department of Transportation and, who hires the people to do the traffic study?
The developer.
The developer, yeah, okay, that's.
And our professionals review it.
Right.
Which is the standard practice for every site plan and subdivision that comes to the township.
Okay, yeah, that's where I have a problem. Because if the developer is hiring to have the traffic study done, then they're going to hire someone. We know how this works, I don't even have to say it. So,
Yeah, but in all fairness, Janice, we have professionals that we hire that raise, if there's an issue, or we have an issue as planning board members, it's not one-sided.
We also
Right,
have an
that's-
environmental committee that reviews all of that paperwork as well.
yeah, so remember the last time I asked, is there a person on your planning board that is a professional in the traffic
Sure.
flow and transportation
Sure.
and safety?
Yes.
Yes, okay, what is that person's name?
Well, the planning board every year appoints professionals. Currently, the professional is CME, and they bring in their traffic expert. And if the planning board, after January, the planning board reappoints, that will be the experts from whoever the planning board, CME.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, great, thank you
We're also
so
lucky,
much.
just to add, I don't know if he's getting reappointed or not, but we do have one of our members who is a traffic engineer that's a resident and serves on the board.
Great,
And you and your group have a right to hire your own professionals to oversee, to make sure.
Oh,
And you-
okay. Yeah.
It's your right to do that,
Okay, great,
and can review everything that the planning board and its professionals review.
Okay.
All has to be open to the public.
great. Well, thank you so much for entertaining my questions, and I will see you at the next meeting.
Thank you.
Okay.
Barbara Dixell?
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Barbara Dixell, 62A Piazza Vittoria, Freehold, New Jersey.
Good evening.
Good evening. I've been asked by the Board of Trustees of the villages to come here tonight and speak to you. There is a problem on Doc Hammarskjöld at the corner of Sottery Lane and Doc Hammarskjöld. We had a sinkhole open up with the last storm, and it's pretty deep. And the president of the board put tape and stuff around it. We really don't, they don't know who is responsible for it, and if they try filling it in, there's a pipe, there's a cement box where the dirt is that is cracked and split in half and goes under the street. So it's dirt and water pipes, and we don't know who it is, but could the council please, or somebody from the township, reach out to our board president and see if it's either roads, the road department or American Water or somebody that can give them some help in getting this closed before we get a resident that falls in there and gets badly hurt.
Jim, have you seen that?
Yeah, just the other day, and I think, Joe, we were actually looking at the services agreement with the villages. I don't believe we are responsible for that. I believe it's the roadway only. This is actually behind the curb, where there's a sinkhole. Joe, you wanna?
That's correct. Based on my review of the agreement, it's, we're responsible for the roadways, so this particular sinkhole would be the responsibility of the association.
Who would, could this be American Water, or could this?
No, that is directly related to the storm drain right there.
Storm drain, right?
The storm drain's missing 3 blocks in the top. I mean, it's a very large gaping hole.
It's a gaping hole and the pipe's
So
cracked
the-
and the dirt's going under and
So
washing out the street.
the block needs to be put back in place, and your inlets need to be repaired and then just filled back in.
Who or what kind of a company would be hired to do this?
A site contractor of some kind. It really could be anybody, a mason contractor. There's many contractors in town that would do that. Your landscaping company might even do that. I don't know who you use for landscaping.
I'm gonna give this to you, Mr. Herman. I'm gonna give you the.
I've seen it. I don't need to.
The president's name is on here, so you can call him up and talk to him. Please.
Okay, if
That
you
would be
want, if you
nice.
want to tell, is it Mr. Kleeman still?
No, no,
Okay.
Mr. Kleeman is off the board.
Okay, if you'd like to tell the board president that it's the village's responsibility,
I'm giving this to you. I'm asking you to do it. We live in Howell Township. You work for Howell Township. You're the community director. Please do it.
yes, ma'am.
I've been asked by my board of trustees to give this to you. I'm here. I delivered the message. I'm asking you to please do this. And thank you all. Have a happy, wonderful holiday to
Same to you, Barbara.
Pauline and Rob. Thank you for your service and happy holiday. And see you all on Reconstruction Day or whatever day.
Oh, Reconstruction Day.
A manner of speaking.
Who is it? Who's the director? What is it?
Is Juan still here? No.
Reeve Apgar?
Yeah, he's there. Oh, he's in the back.
Got it. All right.
Please call them. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Juan Malave?
Juan Malavic, Laviola Drive, Howell Township. Good evening, Mayor.
Good evening.
Council. Good evening. Thank you for allowing me the opportunity to be heard tonight. First of all, I'd like to congratulate our newly elected council officials, Mr. Russo, Ms. Richmond, and Mr. Bonovich. I wish you all much success. Mayor, the reason for me coming out this evening was mainly to publicly and personally express my immense gratitude to our outgoing council members, Councilwoman Pauline Smith and Councilman Walsh and Deputy Mayor Nick Castro. Having sat up there myself, I realize the extraordinary commitment that it takes to serve this great community and the time and the effort that it requires to do so. And in my opinion, they certainly have done that. So I want to thank them for their services throughout the years for Howell Township. I want to make sure that Howell Township continues to be the great place that it is. And again, I hope that with their experience and their knowledge and their passion and love that I know that they possess for Howell Township, that they would I would surely hope that they would remain involved at some capacity and continue to serve in this township at some capacity, because they experience and passion and love for the township is hard to find. So they possess that. And again, I thank you all for many years of services, and Howell Township is a great place to be, and it's a better place today
because of your efforts. So I wanted to personally come out and thank you for that. I could be home watching the Knicks lose, but I decided to come here tonight. So thank you all. God bless. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Juan. And Mayor, if I may, what makes it easy for us, and I hope it makes it easier for the incoming council, is that we had and have great leaders from the past that really helped shape Howell Township. Councilman Juan Malave being one of them. He was a great mentor to me, and I think I could say that for many of us up here. But it's always easier when you're following good leadership and people that really have their heart for Howell. And my comments were that, again, I know we're all here because we want to make a difference and do the right thing. So when you have that great leadership from the past, moving forward, it does make it easier. So I personally want to thank Councilman Malave and members of governing bodies in the past for helping us navigate through our tenures.
So I'm not quite sure. Are you guys going to be a tag team, Jerry and Brian?
Good evening, Mayor and Council. We're actually here representing the Green Team. We figured, we've been having a couple of meetings throughout the year. We just got recertified, so congratulations to it's not the Green Team that made it happen. It's all of the people that work for the town that really make it happen. We just had to fill out the paperwork.
Don't cut yourself short.
And I'd also like to thank you guys for your service. Good luck in your new adventures. And you said it well, it is an honor to serve the community. And so we would like to give you a report of some of the accomplishments that the Green Team has done over the last several years. And Jerry, I don't know if you want to give the report here, or you want me to? Okay. So first of all, I'd like to start off with what the mission is for the Green Team, for those that don't know much about the Green Team. The Green Team is a group of individuals that helps advise the Township Council on ways to improve municipal operations with green initiatives that make practical, environmental, and financial sense. In 2015, I believe that the Green Team was actually formed from a resolution standpoint, 2013, somewhere in that range. And it actually didn't get legs until 2015. An actual team was put together in 2015. The application for the first Green Team award was from Sustainable New Jersey, was due that June. So we had assembled the team in January of 2015. We had our first productive meeting in March of 2015, and in less than 3 months' time, we were able to take what the town already had done to make Howell a better place, reduce our use of resources and so forth, and get the town certified. With that certification that came in 2015, we met in 2016. We helped establish our mission statements and our goals. We were able to participate in a grant that was issued from the New Jersey Natural Gas Company for what they called an Environmental Defense Fellow. What this Environmental Defense Fellow did was they came in during the summertime and worked with our town officials to find out where are some of the energy inefficiencies in the town. And that lady who was part of that fellowship identified the potential of about $3,181,056 of potential energy savings over the next 15 years if we would implement her ideas. And I understand that the DPW has been implementing some of those ideas. There's many more that could be implemented to maximize those savings. We also filled out that year a grant for PSC&G to try to get our ERI updated. We were not successful, but we did fill it out. We were also, because we are so close to the coast, the points and the information that we had submitted to Sustainable Jersey was also enough for us to become certified with Blue Star as well. So we're part of that coastal community. So we had also received that award as well in 2016. In 2017, there was a desire of the group to start a look at a farmer's market in town, and a committee within the Green Team Committee was formed in 2017. We also had JCP&L come. We looked at the town. At the time, I think Jackson was trying to get all of their street lights changed over to LED. So that was in the papers. So we had a JCP&L representative come in and discuss what those possibilities would be for the town. At the time, the way the tariffs are written, there really isn't, unfortunately, a benefit to the town in order to do that. I'm hoping that those tariffs change in the near future. We'll stay on top of that and let you guys know if anything pops up. We also discussed creating a green fair, taking Howell Day and turning it into a concept of adding a green fair. It was a module that was one of the requirements for our certification. It was able to get some points for it. And we were able to take Howell Day and just add it as a green fair at no cost to the taxpayers and provide a benefit to the town. We were actually also able to green the green fair. And it's one of the things that took place that year was we coordinated with the DPW and the Howell Organic Garden, and we were able to collect some of the organic scraps from the food vendors and put those in a separate receptacle, and then they took those organic material, brought it to the organic garden, they composted it and used it in what they call their plant a row portion of the garden. And I think I have the information here. It was, give me a second. I don't have it written down, I apologize. If I remember right, the plant a row vegetables that they grow there goes to the Howell Pantry Community Bank, it goes to a soup kitchen, and it goes to the senior center. In 2017, we filed again for that EDF fellow grant from New Jersey Natural Gas, and we were awarded that fellow again. That gentleman came in, and his specialty was marketing sustainability and the ideas that go around sustainability. So he took the information that Aaron had put together back in 2016 and further enhanced it and developed marketing items, such as how many trees do we save, how many barrels of oil does Howell save by all the good things it does, how much carbon offset does the town already do by the recyclable materials that we use within our day-to-day operations, and some of the things that the DPWs does to reduce the amount of fuel used in their trucks and so forth. So we took all that information and we created signage. And I don't know if anybody had noticed those signs in Howell, but they were the orange, yellow Home Depot buckets with the posts in it with all these little fun facts about how the town helps save the planet. And that's where all of those fun facts came from, was from that efforts as well. That fellow also helped put together a grant that allowed us to win, I think it was a $10,000 grant that allowed us to replace some of the utility-powered signage out in front of some of our schools to solar LED type, which again also helped save the taxpayers because those were monthly charges that the utility company was charging every month to maintain those meters in place. So that was another good thing that the Green Team did. We also have partnered in the last 2 years for the Howell Day. We've partnered with the local Girl Scouts, part of Howell Day, and the booth that the Green Team has. We've handed out little packets of sunflower seeds. I'd like to recognize that the local troop is the one that puts those seed packets together. So we branched out there. 2018, we just recently got recertified. Again, it wasn't a very heavy lift. We just had to fill out the paperwork. The town already does all of these good things. We also just recently learned that we won the electric car charging grant as well. That was another one that the fellow back in 2017 helped fill out. So we're looking forward to seeing how that gets implemented and used. Another good thing that's been happening is this has kind of spawned and expanded into the schools. So the genesis of us having a green team inspired the Board of Education to set their requirements for a green team. They were also able to participate in that EDF fellow, and my understanding is they're going to be providing great benefits to the citizens of Howell by some of the energy savings improvement program methods that they've implemented in their school. But I'd let the school board discuss more of that. But one of the members, Mary Ann Cernak, has been really active in trying to bridge the town and the school together in regards to getting the kids involved in the environment. And she's been very successful in getting that moving forward. There's now, I think, a third green team, I read in the paper, a third green team that's starting within the school system. And Mary Ann Cernak can't be here today, but she should be well commended with all of her efforts in getting the kids involved in these programs. And then the last thing was the laptop. As silly as it sounds, we had tried an experiment at our booth. You know, it's always tough to find members for these committees, especially ours, and we could use an army. If we had an army and had real good direction from the town and the council in regards to what some of the things are that's happening in the town that the green team may be able to help with, if we had an army behind us, we'd be able to do a lot more for the town than what we're able to do at present time. So we came up with an idea of utilizing our laptop to sign people up. As people came by the booth and asked us questions about the green team, we said, hey, why don't you join us? We meet once a month. Maybe you can be of service to the community. And right there, we had them fill out the electronic form. And I know we got at least 5 or 6 people that signed up. Hopefully, you guys have reviewed those applications, and some of those people will be appointed to the committee, and we're looking forward to that. And that's pretty much it for the report in regards to the things that we do. Again, Mary Ann Cernak has definitely been instrumental in getting things moving on with the schools, and we have discussed it in our committee, and we're really looking forward and would like to see, and I'm glad that the new council, men and women, are here today to hear this. For starting next year, we'd really like some strong direction from the council in regards to ideas and things the town needs. Again, put the list out there. We can't say we can do it all, but by all means, I'd rather have first right of refusal to say that we can't do something than to make an assumption that it's not something we can handle. Would you like to say anything else, Jerry?
Yeah. Just to let everybody know, for the third or fourth.
Name and address.
Oh, my, Jerry Barron, 37 Danella Way in Howell. I've already discussed this with Deputy Mayor Nicastro, and Evelyn's involved, and Thomas Russo. But once again, we're going to apply for the Environmental Resource Inventory for the third or fourth time. And the deadline for the grant, it's a grant through Sustainable Jersey, is like February 6th or something like that. But one key thing is, last year we asked council to go 50-50 on this. They put up $10,000, and we put in for a $10,000 grant from Sustainable Jersey, and we didn't get it, but we're going to try again. But we need a resolution. If you or the new council, for that matter, 3 members over there, can somehow find $10,000, we need a resolution sometime in January okaying this. Or if you don't, then we won't put in for the grant. It's a key thing. It's getting close again. New Year's coming, so we'll see what happens.
So I just have a question. If it was approved prior, but you didn't receive the grant, then the dollars are still in the budget, is that correct?
Any match that we put up would only be applicable for a grant for this year, for the 2018 budget. So any match that the township would have to put up for any new grants would have to be budgeted in the 2019 budget.
But if it doesn't get approved, it stays in the budget.
Correct. It would just lapse off, correct.
So we would need some type of resolution from council in January. That's the bottom line, if you wanted to go forward with that.
If you feel that there's a need to use the grant for something else, that's fine too. We just need some direction.
I do have a question for clarification. So you're asking for a resolution that in fact the council would do $10,000, assuming that the team were successful in getting that $10,000 grant?
God bless you.
Correct. We feel that putting that language in the grant would make it more favorable.
Well, it's part
To
of the
receive
grant
it.
process.
It was.
It is.
So it's a specific
It's a matching
requirement of that grant?
I apologize. It's a matching grant.
We anticipate the whole thing costs $20,000, so we're looking for,
And again, through the Delaware Authority?
if we get approval, yeah.
Jerry, how are you assuming it's $20,000 when it's a reexamination?
We had a request last year we put in.
I understand you put in a request, but did anybody speak to the Delaware Valley group that did the past one and get an estimate of what this grant, what this reexamination would cost?
One of our members had reached out to some of the other towns and found out approximately what their costs were.
Do you know who did the,
Now,
do you-
whether-
do you know who did the previous one?
No, I don't. Now, whether they asked the proper question, or whether it was a reexamination, or whether it was starting over from scratch, that, I don't believe that data is known at this time.
I think the information is out there. I know we've had these lengthy discussions, and sometimes we agree to disagree. And first and foremost, I want to say thank you for your services that you've done on the Green Team, both you, Jerry, and all the members. It was an initiative that I strongly believed in and got the council behind and started. And you guys have done a wonderful job, and I'm sure you're going to continue because I think Councilwoman
Councilwoman
O'Donnell is the liaison there.
She's been
so.
a very strong advocate in
In the
representing.
past, I've told you that, and he's here today, Mr. Smith, who was very involved in past chairman of the Environmental Commission, was the one that initially started this, and where the grant came from. The information is there. So I've told you at the planning board, my feelings on it, I'm outgoing, the ingoing is coming in, and they'll make those decisions. I just think that you need to leave and understand that, you got to give them a little chance to look at the budgets and the challenges they're going to have. I don't have any issue requesting, but I also want to make sure that they have the right information. The $20,000 most likely is not what it's going to cost, my opinion, but maybe as a green team, as a team who is pushing this initiative, could go and get a little bit more information and maybe reach out to the, I think it was the Delaware Valley, blah, blah, blah group that did it. I'm sure Jim Herman could help you with that information, and maybe that would make the process go a little easier.
Sure, Jim, if you have our contact information, if you have a better idea of what the cost would be, we're happy to
I
move into that.
Brian, I think what we're trying to, I think that the better direction
I
is,
just don't want this to take a side bar here.
Understood.
This is something we think is we as a group think is a good thing for the town. We are just appointed officials.
Brian, duly noted. We know it's important.
So
we know it's
you
important.
guys are the ones that have to make the decisions. We're just letting you know what the facts are. If you'd like it to move forward, then there's certain deadlines and milestones and things that need to take place in your first meeting in January of next year. We're coming here tonight instead of when the new council's in place, so that you could maybe get some things ready for that next council meeting.
But I think to Deputy Mayor's point, if you can get the information and provide it so that we can review it prior to that meeting, then I believe we can
I'm
make
happy
it.
to work with Mr. Herman to try to figure that out, and I'll talk to Mr. Smith before.
so really, it would require getting a hold of the Delaware Valley Regional Planning Commission and asking about a reexamination of the document that they did in 2008, whatever it was, I think 2008. So asking them what that charge would be, and then that gives us at least a start in what we're looking at. So I think that a big portion of the question here is, what would the re-examination entail, cost the township? Because a new document, I would think, is a different price than the re-examination of the document they previously did. So, I mean, it's really that simple. But I understand what you're saying.
We'll make the phone calls.
Okay,
See, you asked for
good.
direction, now you got something. Be careful what you ask for.
See, I thought I said that in the email I sent you, but
Our shoulders are broad, we're good.
that worked good.
All we can do is ask.
All right, well,
Absolutely.
that's it. Do you guys have any questions or comments about the green team?
No, but thank you for a great job.
Okay.
And thank you all for your help the last 6 years.
Yes, and
We
your service.
couldn't have done it without you. And our to our left also, different people.
Thank you.
Right. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays. Anybody else, agenda?
Is there anybody else that would like to come up?
Good evening. Joan Osborne, 28 Bronia Street, Howell, New Jersey, appearing on behalf of the Environmental Commission. It's your lucky night. It's the last meeting of the calendar year, and we are charged with also making our annual report to the council, which I have previously provided, and Jerry's here with me, and he's going to talk this time, too. So we're going to just try to quickly read it in, and then if you have any comments. This report is made by the Howell Township Environmental Commission in fulfillment of the requirements set forth in Howell Township Ordinance, Section 2-35C, parentheses 6, parentheses G, that the commission submit an annual report regarding its activities to the Township Council. The Howell Township Environmental Commission is comprised of volunteers who include appointed members and alternates who are charged by authorizing ordinance with promoting conservation, conducting research into the possible use of open areas in Howell Township, and making recommendations to the Planning Board for plans and programs for the use of open areas. In addition, the Environmental Commission performed reviews of all development applications that were considered by the Planning Board or the Board of Adjustment and provided its recommendations on environmental aspects of such applications. We have included as part of this report a listing of all the different applications we reviewed this calendar year, which amounts to 95 applications, some of them being applications that came back to us several times with different changes. The commission also reviewed numerous New Jersey DEP permit applications, such as letters of interpretation, general permits, buffer transition waivers, and other notifications made by the DEP regarding environmental contamination within Howell Township. This year, the commission also requested a hearing and objected to the granting of a permit to divert water from the Cohansey-Kirkwood Aquifer for use in irrigating parklands. That was an application submitted by Brick Township. We believe that that would have impacted Howell Township and some of the residents who receive water from the Brick Township MUA. The commission submitted written objection and voiced concern for the use of the water and potential depletion of the aquifer at a time of environmental change and because the application is not in conformance with the state's water supply plan. The permit application, to my understanding, which I looked up the information last week, is still under review. And so it hasn't been granted yet. So we're hopeful that if it is granted, it will be with some changes that will protect the township residents and the water supply. Wanna read some? Right here. Jerry is co-chair of the environmental.
My name and address hasn't changed in the last 10 minutes, in case you're wondering. So Dan here. Yeah, all right, the commission continues to monitor and take a proactive approach with regard to the waste transfers proposed, the waste transfer station proposed for Randolph Road. We remain opposed to the facility on the basis of lack of need by Monmouth County residents and because of traffic impacts that would alter the character of the rural residential area. The commission will continue to seek information on the status and attend meetings regarding this application. When an ordinance seeking to govern the installation of small cell equipment was proposed, the commission raised concerns to the council regarding same. As additional scientific testing and conclusions inform us on the potential health impacts of such equipment, we would urge the council to be amenable to revisiting the ordinances governing installation of this equipment to promote and protect the citizens of Howell Township. While the commission has been able to perform certain of its functions, it would be remiss if it did not again notify the council of several important issues that should be addressed to improve its ability to carry out its core function of counseling on the possible use of open space in the township. The township needs to obtain a new environmental resource inventory. Gee, where did that come from? For use by the commission in reviewing developmental applications. The existing ERI is out of date and therefore of limited utility. Additionally, the ERI is an element of the conservation element of the master plan. The conservation element of the master plan is one of the oldest sections, having last been adopted in 2006, and is also well overdue for review and renewal. Given the upcoming expectations of development in the township, it is critical that policy decisions be informed by current information on natural resources and ecological issues. We ask that the council establish as a priority that the conservation element and the ERI be prepared in the upcoming year, and that the cost of the same be budgeted through the planning board's budget. Do you want to rename?
Sure. We renew our request for earlier involvement on ordinances, grant applications, and proposals that impact the environment and the ecology and natural spaces in Howell. The commission continues to receive notification on pending legislation by happenstance rather than through proactive requests for any input. We believe that the town would be better served by a thorough vetting of any proposed ordinances before introduction, and will continue to work on the development of a process where that can happen regularly. In addition to review of application, other projects of the commission this past year include participation in the plastic bottle trash collection effort of the Adelphia School with the Green Team, facilitating presentations made to middle school students to promote water conservation and teach how wastewater is recovered, participation in ANJAC and Sustainable Jersey conferences. We have met with the township committees to work with the Howell Township Schools Science Department and with Monmouth Conservation. Evaluated candidates and awarded the Angie Ritchie Award in October to Arthur Lee Fankhauser. Attended council planning and zoning board meetings and spoke about environmental issues on their meeting agendas. In July, we met with other committees, including the Science Department head of the Howell Schools, to talk about getting the students involved in environmental matters and including issues in class curriculum. We recently toured the Reclamation Center of Monmouth County, involved with other committees from the township. We prepared the budget request for the Environmental Commission funding for next year. We facilitated and participated in having the Monmouth County Park Service attend Howell Day Green Fair, and we also participated in the Howell Day Green Fair, providing environmental information to our citizens.
We thank you for your help and efforts.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you for all that you do for the town. Thank you very much. Is there anyone else that wants to come up and speak? I'd like to close this portion of the meeting and move on to the consent agenda.
Make a motion to approve 9A1 through 9A26. I'm going to add in the 9Bs, Penny, if that's okay, 9B1 through 9B7.
Could we do Resolution 821 separately, please?
I'll amend my motion to have a separate vote on 9A21. So 9A1 through 9A20, 9A20 through 2 through 9A26, 9B1 through 9B7.
Roll call, Mrs. O'Donnell? Yes. Mrs. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Nacastro?
Yes.
Mayor Berger?
Yes.
9A21, you want a discussion?
Well, yeah, I'd like to point out, if nobody's thought about it, this LL Paving Company is before the Board of Adjustment. They want to be able to have an asphalt making facility, and we also have a resolution against having any more in the township and here we are awarding them a contract. I don't think it's right, and I'm dead set against it.
Jim, Brian, can you give us a little history, please?
Sure. So this is our patch program that we put out to open public contract. We initially received bids. The bids were S&G Paving out of Jamesburg, who is a contractor I've never worked with before, who kind of showed up out of nowhere, was the low bidder. They were substantially low. We questioned them at the bid opening, saying, are you sure these are accurate numbers, as you're way under what everybody else was? They stated they were, so we moved forward because we really don't have much choice in the public bidding world. So that was the week we changed the last council meeting, or the council meeting in mid-November, if you guys remember. So we went from the 20th to the 15th. Well, on the 15th, we awarded the project to S&G Paving. On the 16th, I received a certified letter from S&G Paving requesting to withdraw their bid due to gross errors in their calculations. Right, so they actually complied with the public contracts law, as the letter was postmarked on November 9th. So they didn't call me and tell me after they told me at the bid opening they were fine. A phone call would have sufficed and I would have not awarded it to them. However, they didn't do that. It took a week. We tracked the certified mail, and it was mailed on the 9th, and I received it on the 16th. So they met the public contracts law by complying with the 5-day rule. They have 5 days to withdraw their bid after the bid opening. That is, the time starts when they send the actual letter. So that was 1 day after they had the bid opening. So yes, they complied. Joe Clark has reviewed that and confirmed that, they are in compliance with the state law. So our option is to rescind the resolution awarding them the contract and award it to what is really the second place bidder, which is actually really the first responsible and responsive bidder. That just happens to be L&L Paving. That, has nothing to do with the zoning board. It has nothing to do with the asphalt plant. It's public contract law, and it's a public bid opening. I can't pick my contractors. We're basically required to follow public law.
We have an ordinance that says that we don't want any more asphalt, and they can't make it themselves. They'll have to buy it from somebody else.
That's correct, and they work in town all over the place right now. They are working.
Yeah, but that's not
they're
the
buying their
government-
material.
That's not the township itself giving them business. So
We have
I
given
just
them
don't
business
like
in the
it.
past,
Well-
just so you're aware, because there's been cases where they've been needed to do work, and we have given them business in the past.
So they're not manufacturing the asphalt, they're
Correct.
just doing the paving job, they're going buying someone else.
Correct. They buy it from another vendor.
They were the second lowest bidder.
They also said
They were the second lowest,
wouldn't sell them the asphalt.
they were the second.
That's correct.
Look, what was the next
why.
bid after the third?
I think it was 650,000 roughly.
And the second bid was how much?
The next bidder was, I believe, around 650.
No, L&L was how much?
L&L was 605.
605, and the
This
third
next
was
one was, I
650.
believe, around 650. The numbers were in the memo I sent you. I can pull it up.
Okay. My comments are simple, although I respect Mrs. Smith's,
You always do.
I do. I always will. But I just can't see how we're gonna penalize a business that's before the zoning board. Removing our personal beliefs, whether we think another asphalt should be here or not, because we as a council did make it a, not permitted use in the future. But I just don't know how we punish a business who's not even making the asphalt from doing the job, and then say to the taxpayers, hey, we're gonna give you more money. So although we're gonna spend more money because we just don't like L&L Paving, who's before the zoning board. I think it's bad policy.
Just to clarify, the next low bidder was $638,500, which was Garden State Sealing out of Tinton Falls.
So 605 versus 38.
638.5.
Sounds little, but I'm telling you, during budget process, Brian, we asked to find $500. So
Well,
with that-
we couldn't choose to award it to the next highest bidder anyway. That's not in our purview.
We could start all over. Oh, I'm not gonna argue.
All right, so, anyway,
You're gonna do what you're gonna do.
motion for 9/8/21.
Second.
Roll call, Mrs. O'Donnell?
Yes.
Mrs. Smith?
No.
Mr. Nacastro?
Yes.
Mayor Berger?
Yes.
I do not have anything for public hearing ordinances to read.
I have it here. I'll read it.
Yeah, I didn't bring my book.
You want this book?
No, that's all right.
You're gonna need someone to read something.
So,
I didn't bring
ordinance
my
zero,
glasses either.
I'm sorry?
I didn't bring my glasses either.
Ordinance 0-18-35, 10.1.
It was too much trouble getting me here.
It's to amend Chapter 188 Land Use and allow health club facilities and fitness centers as a permitted use in the SED zone. Ordinance number 0-18-35, introduced and passed on first reading on 10/9/18 and published according to law, is now being taken up for further consideration and public hearing. Affidavit of publication of this ordinance in the Asbury Park Press issue of the 10/26/18 is submitted and has been noted that a copy of the ordinance has been posted on the bulletin board in the municipal building, and that copies were available to the general public upon request.
Title of ordinance, an ordinance of the Township of Howell amending Chapter 188-79 entitled Special Economic Development of the Revised General Ordinances of the Township of Howell.
I would like to open this up for public discussion. There being none, I will close this and ask for a motion.
A motion that ordinance number 01835 be finally passed and adopted, and that notice of its passage and adoption be published in the December 14th, 2018 issue of the Asbury Park Press by reference to its title only.
Second.
Roll call, Mrs. O'Donnell?
Yes.
Mrs. Smith?
No.
Mr. Nacastro?
Yes.
Mayor Berger?
Yes. Ordinance 0-18-36, 10.2, amend salary ordinance for various non-union. Ordinance number 0-18-36, introduced and passed on first reading on 11/15/18 and published according to law, is now being taken up for further consideration and public hearing. Affidavit of publication of the ordinance in the Asbury Park Press issue of 11/2018 is submitted and is noted that a copy of the ordinance has been posted on the bulletin board in the municipal building, and that copies are available to the general public upon request.
Title of ordinance, an ordinance setting forth and amending and supplementing the salary range schedule for the salaries of certain officers and employees of the Township of Howell.
May I would like to open this up for public discussion. There being none, I will close and ask for a motion.
A motion that ordinance number 01836 be finally passed and adopted, and that notice of its passage and adoption be published in the December 14th, 2018 issue of the Asbury Park Press by reference to its title only.
Second.
Roll call, Mrs. O'Donnell?
Yes.
Mrs. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Nacastro?
Yes.
Mayor Berger?
Yes. For information purposes, the municipal offices will be closed a half workday on Monday, December 24, 2018. The offices will be closed on Tuesday, full day, December 25, 2018. The office will be closed on a half-day Monday, December 31, 2018, and municipal office will be closed the full day on Tuesday, January 1st, 2018. The reorganization meeting will be Tuesday, January 1st, 2019 at noon. There are some light refreshments in the back once the meeting has been closed. I would entertain.
I'm sorry, Mayor, may I?
Yes, ma'am.
I feel the need to say Pauline, Rob, and to Bob that's not here, it has been a pleasure to work with all three of you.
Oh, thank
And I
you.
know that you're only a phone call away.
Oh,
And,
definitely,
and
anytime.
trust me, that phone will be ringing. So again, thank you so much, and your friendship has been well received.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I will entertain a motion. To
Motion
end the meeting.
to close the
Second.
meeting.
Roll call, Mrs. O'Donnell?
Yes.
Mrs. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Nacastro?
Yes.
Mayor Berger?
Yes.
And I'd just like to say Merry Christmas and Happy New Year for all of Howell and the world over. Peace on earth.
Amen.
Second that.